Happy belated Independence Day to all my fellow Americans. By the time I'm recording this, the holiday's officially over. It's 1:55 a.m. Central Time here in the good old Midwest. But I've got to say, I had such an amazing day celebrating with family and friends. We had everything you'd want for the 4th of July, a sunny day with just the right amount of clouds, some pool time, a great barbecue, and plenty of laughs. Oh, and my dog, she had herself a day too. She loves mingling with everyone, frolicking in the yard like she owns the place. Of course, she overdid it a bit. Got a little overheated from all the excitement. She's not that out of shape, okay? She's slim enough. Anyway, we brought her inside for some AC, then she'd head back out, get rambunctious again, pant like crazy, and repeat. A whole cycle of fun for her, but don't worry, she's fine. On a totally unrelated but kind of funny note, though, anyone else slightly suspicious that the Brits might be plotting some kind of sneaky retaliatory move after all these years? I mean, they just can't handle how happy we are over here, right? Just kidding, mostly. Hope everyone had an awesome 4th filled with good vibes and great memories. So yeah, the Brits have had nearly 250 years to cook up the ultimate comeback. We're on to you, just saying. By the way, as I'm recording this, XRP is sitting at $2.23 and Bitcoin's at a jaw-dropping $108,370. Anyway, before wrapping up tonight, I'll admit crypto's been on my mind all day. Can't help it. I've got skin in the game, and honestly, it's just so much fun. Running this YouTube channel and keeping up with crypto news is hands down my favorite hobby. Just checking a few things earlier, and I'm going to try and keep this video short because, well, it's late and I'm up way past my bedtime. Plus, I'm still getting over a bit of a bug. Feeling much better now, though, if you've been following along. I've been dealing with some coughing fits here and there. Hopefully they stay away. But just in case, I've got a couple of Hall's Fruit Breezers on standby. You never know. Seriously, though, the stars have aligned and everything is falling into place perfectly. It's exciting to see how things are shaping up, especially with XRP. Did you know it's the #1 performing coin since the election? How amazing is that? I love seeing that become a reality. Honestly, I just believe in it, especially after hearing all the negativity, people saying that it's dropping to the top 10, going to 0, has no utility, and so on. That couldn't be further from the truth. XRP has seen some of the most incredible adoption and utility in the history of this entire asset class. It's clearly an early standout in the crypto space. That said, XRP really thrives when the broader market is on the move. Those big life-changing gains only happen when the momentum is there across the board. And let me tell you, things are looking so perfectly set right now. If you're paying attention to this before everyone else catches on, congratulations, you're ahead of the curve. Don't worry, the rest of the world will catch up eventually. But for now, you're in the driver's seat. It is a big property. I get it. The price action might seem a bit boring to some of you, and that's a totally fair take if that's how you see it. But trust me, this sideways movement isn't going to last forever. Things are going to heat up in a big way. XRP has the potential to be one of the biggest winners when this happens. Possibly the biggest among the top 100 coins by market cap. It's going to get absolutely crazy. In this video, I'm going to break down the bigger picture for you, and I've got insights and analysis from several XRP chart experts to share as well. It's all about understanding how everything ties together, so stick around. I shared a post about this recently, and I think you'll find it super helpful. This insight comes from chart analyst Tech Dev, and it's worth repeating. He shared this with his 533,000 followers, and it's pretty fascinating stuff. In Bitcoin's history, there have been 4 key signals that have always aligned with a top, and we're nowhere near one of those. But there have also been 4 major launch signals that sent Bitcoin parabolic, and the latest one just triggered. When he says that's the one, you've got to check the chart to see what he's pointing out. Basically, we've just hit this little bump for the 4th time, and historically, this has been the start of the next big move up. I actually shared this the other day, but it's worth highlighting again. This was actually reposted by Julian Biddle, and let me tell you, he's one of the smartest, most insightful, and data-driven people in the entire crypto space. He's the head of macro research at Global Macro Investor and works with none other than Raoul Pal. If you don't know Raoul, he's a former Goldman Sachs exec, founder of Real Vision and GMI, and has a massive following of 1.2 million people for good reason. He's one of the best analysts out there, hands down. And Julian, he's right there working alongside him. Anytime I come across something from Raoul, Julian, or even Jamie Kutso, who also works with him, though I don't see as much from him, I stop whatever I'm doing and dive in. On the morning of July 4th, he shared something pretty interesting. He wrote about the GMI Bitcoin Cycle Top Finder, or CTF for short. Now, it's proprietary, so I don't know all the details behind it, but looking at the chart they generated, it's clear that this tool is designed to pinpoint Bitcoin's peaks. Why is that exciting? Well, it's kind of obvious, but let me break it down. He mentioned there have been 4 major top signals in Bitcoin's history, and each one perfectly corresponded to a market peak. No guessing involved. Just look at the chart. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, where's the 5th signal? It's still in the making, my friends. That's why this is so exciting. Take a look at this. We're not at the end of the cycle, unless, of course, you're thinking this time is different. But let's be real. It's not. There's nothing fundamentally different about this time. Sure, you can dive into the little details and say, well, this part is a bit different, but that's not what we mean when we talk about something being truly different. We're talking about a fundamental shift, something big. And honestly, it's just not likely. Do those kinds of big changes happen? Yes, but they're incredibly rare. That's why I said it's pretty unlikely that's the case. It's actually much higher than that. This is just one of the many metrics we'll be keeping an eye on to figure out if, hey, maybe the market is overheating or we're actually at the top. We're getting close. And that's something you'll definitely want to know. Don't worry, I'll be sure to share it with you when it happens. Proud to say it. I've got the silliest name in the entire XRP community. So what are you going to do about it? But hey, we're all in this together. And when the time comes, you better believe I'll be shouting it from the rooftops. Here's the thing. You don't want to bury your head in the sand and miss out on what's happening. The good news, alt season can actually kick off even before Bitcoin hits its peak, and the price cycle can even carry on after that. That's the sweet spot, the time when you'll want to be really mindful if your plan is to take profits. When we get there, don't worry, I'll be here to talk about it and help you navigate it. Julian Biddle just shared another post, and this one caught my attention. New all-time highs in New York Stock Exchange breadth. I have to say, this really stood out to me. Now, full disclosure, I don't think I've ever seen this chart before, at least not that I can remember. I am taking it at face value for now. So I went through everything on the screen, read all the details, and tried to see if there's any way it could mean something different than how I initially interpreted it. Here's how I'm understanding it, but if I'm off, feel free to let me know. I promise no ego here. If I'm wrong, I'm totally fine with that. When I say I firmly believe or know something, I'll always mean it, but I'm open to corrections. I'm definitely not a know-it-all. So if I'm ever unsure about something, you'll find moments like this where I'll say, hey guys, I think this is how it works, but if I'm wrong, let me know. It's no big deal. I'm always open to learning, and if needed, I can clarify things in another video. The last thing I want to do is mislead anyone. Now, when he talks about new all-time highs in New York Stock Exchange breadth, here's what comes to mind. The importance of investors looking beyond just the Magnificent Seven or the S&P 500. It's about venturing further out on the risk curve into small cap stocks and other areas. That's how I'm interpreting it, assuming that's what he means. That said, I haven't seen the specific chart he's referring to, so if I've got it wrong, let me know. I doubt I'm off here, but just putting it out there because, again, I don't want to lead anyone in the wrong direction. New all-time highs in NYSE breadth, that's a big deal. It's not just a suggestion. It's something that absolutely needs to happen for alt season to really take off. And if we're looking at this as it stands, it seems like we're there. Pretty exciting, right? I mean, doesn't an all-time high count for something? What do you guys think? Quick flashback to July 3rd when I shared this. Oh, and sorry, I'm still under the weather. Let me grab a Hall's Fruit Breezer real quick. By the way, this isn't a sponsored thing. I've never had a sponsor on this channel ever. Actually, come to think of it, they aren't even called Hall's Fruit Breezers anymore. They changed the name, and honestly, it annoys me. Hall's, I love you, but also kind of don't right now. Okay, back to the topic. Let's talk about the Russell 2000. Just hit the 702 retrace, a major battle zone. You can see it's been climbing steadily since the April lows, which makes sense. Those lows were during the tariff chaos, but now things have turned around. Everything has been moving up. And if you really zoom in, it's clear to see Julian Biddle from GMI shared a post showing exactly that. New all-time highs in NYSE breadth. When I saw it, I thought, wow, that's fascinating. Because if you're hoping for XRP to hit a new all-time high in enterprise discovery, and trust me, I definitely am, these kinds of shifts have to happen first. And guess what? It really looks like they are happening. Here's an interesting update from chart analyst Tech Dev. This is about the crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. According to him, the altcoin market has been consolidating for an incredible 48 months, almost like a spring coiling tighter and tighter. There isn't really a comparable time in history for this chart. You know, the saying, the wider the base, the higher in space. In other words, the longer a chart consolidates, the bigger the breakout potential when it finally moves. And for this particular chart, the setup is unlike anything we've seen before. This is the total 3 chart, which covers the entire crypto asset class, specifically the top 125 coins, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And the top, just take a look at how it's coiling up. It's building up energy, and when it's ready to pop, the move could be massive. It's exciting to see this setup unfolding. I came across this from Cointelegraph recently, and I've already shared it in 2 separate videos, so I'll keep it short, but it's definitely worth bringing up again, especially since we're talking about the kind of factors you'd want to see if things are truly about to take off. Just 2 days ago, on July 3rd, Cointelegraph reported that the global M2 money supply hit a record high of 55.48 trillion. Will Bitcoin follow? Spoiler alert, yes, it will. Of course it will. But here's the point. I'm sharing this with you now ahead of the curve. The retail masses aren't paying attention yet, but you're here because you're smart, curious, and just as hooked on this stuff as I am. I can't stop thinking about it, reading about it, and sharing it. So kudos to you for being ahead of the game. We're in this together. Here's the thing. This is all the stuff that happens before things really start to go crazy. So if you wake up one day and notice one of my videos has way more views than usual, like 80, 90, 100, even 120,000 views, that's a big sign the masses are jumping in. It happened during the last market cycle. And when it happens again, it's just another indicator. Sure, it's anecdotal, but it's still something worth noticing. I'm telling you, if my videos start getting that many views again, it probably will happen just like last time. It's a signal we're inching closer to the top. And this isn't unique to me. It happens every year, and it's true for every XRP YouTuber and honestly every crypto YouTuber out there. Here's a fun fact for you. After the 2021 peak, views on YouTube channels, including mine, dropped by 75%. Only the hardcore crypto enthusiasts stuck around after that. So yeah, it's a pattern we've seen before, and it's one more piece of the puzzle to keep an eye on. Honestly, I kept posting the same amount over the years because I really enjoy it. Just putting it out there. This is something to keep an eye on. It's a metric. When you see more people coming in and everything starts aligning, that's usually a sign you're approaching the top. We're not there yet. Definitely not. But I do believe it's on the horizon. It's coming. Here's a post from Credible Crypto shared on July 4th, Independence Day in the afternoon. I won't read through the whole thing to save time, but it's a follow-up to his June 27th post, which I also shared earlier. In that post, he mentioned the possibility of prices dropping as low as $102,000. Not exactly a warning, but more of a this could happen scenario. Even the blockchain backer noted it as a possibility, though no one's saying it's guaranteed. That said, several analysts have shared similar thoughts. Interestingly, Credible Crypto believed we might see a move to the upside first, getting close to all-time highs. In this latest update, he's saying there's still a good chance that this plane is playing out as expected. Here's what you can expect. We're likely to hold above $105,000 and in the coming days start moving toward an all-time high. But here's the thing. If we hit $105,000 and then dip back to 1.2, don't panic. These things can take a bit of time to fully play out. The bigger picture, we're still on track for Bitcoin to enter its final parabolic surge. And as for XRP, the outlook is just as exciting. There's still strong confidence that XRP will hit double-digit prices with a long-standing prediction of a peak between 20 cents and $30. Here's a post from Charting Guy that caught my eye. He shared this one on July 4th, and it's a fun one. A lot of people have been giving me grief for saying Ethereum is one of the strongest coins in the market right now. Let me pause and say this. I've been saying it for months. Back when Ethereum dropped to $1,400. Even then, I stood by my opinion, despite all the noise and negativity from people getting emotional about the dip. Here's the thing, when prices drop, some holders panic and overreact, but that panic has nothing to do with Ethereum's actual utility or fundamentals. Price alone doesn't determine the long-term potential or success of Ethereum or any other asset for that matter. Sometimes markets misprice assets. They overvalue or undervalue things. That's just how it goes. But to me, it was clear that Ethereum was oversold, and I stuck with my belief that this was the most likely scenario. The same thing happened with XRP. Remember in 2024 when XRP was ridiculously undervalued, then it took off like crazy. I kept saying it throughout 2024, but what did the skeptics say? They looked at the low price and said, it's been low for years, so it must not be good. Nobody likes it. It's not useful. But that wasn't the case at all. The low price didn't mean it had no value. It meant it was oversold and being held back, partly because of the SEC drama. That's what was really happening. Now, let's dig into some numbers. Someone decided to compare Ethereum to the top 20 coins since the April 7th lows. Guess what? Bitcoin Cash leads the pack, up 78%. But right behind it, Ethereum. A surprise? I mean, wasn't Ethereum supposed to be dead? Wow, isn't that something? A so-called dead coin is up 69.94% since April 7th. Told you it wasn't dead. Never made sense to think it was. Yet he's still sticking around. Just saying. I mean, not you specifically. I know you're smarter than that. You wouldn't believe something so silly. I'm just speaking in general. And here's why this matters, even if you're not holding Ethereum. Historically, Ethereum kicks off alt season, and right now it's showing some serious strength. Trust me, it's not done yet, folks. Here's a great post from chart analyst Osimka about XRP. He's sharing an updated look at the XRP USD chart, and it's been 2 months since his last analysis, so it's definitely time for a fresh one. Back in January, Osima mentioned that XRP was either finishing its cycle or about to cool off for a few months. But let me pause here to say, he never thought it was over. As he's pointed out many times, if you look at the last 2 cycles, after the first big surge, there's usually some consolidation before the next move up. So far, we've only had that first surge, no second one yet. And honestly, the idea that XRP would consolidate for almost a decade, hit just above its all-time high for a brief moment, and then call it quits until the next market cycle, that seems pretty far-fetched. No, that doesn't really make sense, right? It feels so artificially suppressed, and that's it. That just doesn't add up. Plus, he wasn't even saying that was going to happen. In fact, he leaned towards the other option. He pointed out that the second option is significant because it suggests we could go much higher from here. He mentioned STF, which I'm guessing means shorter time frame. Usually I see LTF for lower time frame, but given the context, I think he's talking about shorter time frames. Anyway, he went on to say the daily chart shows a clear corrective channel with solid support at the 2021 highs and 2 resistances we're dealing with for now. He's expecting a small move upward from here, but that doesn't mean it's going straight up into price discovery, especially since it tends to move slowly on the higher time frame, H to the F. He calls it a very bullish looking chart overall. With his broader view of the altcoin market, he's expecting 2 bigger pushes up, represented by the white line here. That said, there's still a chance the yellow option plays out, though it's not his main scenario. The yellow scenario is the womp, womp, womp. It's the worst case outcome where everything just crashes. If that happens, it would mean the entire market fell apart, not just XRP. Sure, it'd be disappointing, but it'd be a lot worse if XRP tanked all on its own. Honestly, I think there's close to a 0% chance that the whole market collapses while XRP just throws in the towel. That would be super unusual historically. This time isn't different, my friends. That's what I believe. Can I be 100% sure? Of course not. No one can predict the future. And that's the truth. I have no idea what's going to happen with the price, but my conviction is strong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It happens. We all have our opinions, and that's mine. Personally, I think XRP is headed way, way, way higher. Here's what makes the most sense to me. He basically says we'll have more clarity in the months ahead, and that's pretty much where he wrapped up his post. The idea is you could see a big move up first, then a bit of sideways action, and then another push higher. It's kind of like squiggle chart folks do this all the time, but here's the thing. Don't take the timeline too literally. These charts often extend into 2027, but they're not necessarily saying that's exactly when things will happen or even the exact price. Here's a post from chart analyst E-Grade Crypto about XRP USD. He simply wrote, "Do you comprehend?" Yes, it's in all caps, so I'm reading it loud. Now let's see if I get it. He mentions that the macro formation has broken upward and there's still a chance of a potential macro retest. What's he talking about? Take a look at the chart here. After breaking out of a symmetrical triangle, it's typical to see a retest before launching upward. But what's he pointing out? You can see it clearly on the chart. He's saying we've had that breakout and yep, that checks out. That's definitely true. No one's arguing with that, but he does think there's a chance, at least in theory, he's not saying it's guaranteed, that a retest could happen. From my perspective, after keeping an eye on this stuff for nearly a decade, if something like that does happen and it's a big deal, it probably means the whole market shifted anyway. In that case, you just ride it out and weather the storm. Honestly, I'm a bit skeptical that it'll play out that way. I wouldn't say it's impossible, though. It's just that the odds seem pretty low. He mentioned something about XRP hitting $1.24, but he's not claiming it will. I'm just saying I'm pretty doubtful we'll see that happen. I don't see anyone out there warning that this is going to happen. It doesn't really seem to be on the table. But either way, eGray Crypto is confident that XRP is still on track to hit double-digit prices this cycle, no matter what. Even if we see a pullback to the downside, it's nothing to worry about. It won't change the bigger picture on the higher time frame. Ali Martinez, a chart analyst, just shared an interesting update about XRP. He points out that $2.38 is a key resistance level. And if XRP can break above it, we could see a big move. It's worth noting that different analysts might have slightly different levels they're watching, but the general idea is the same. Once XRP breaks through, things could get exciting. A lot of people are expecting some serious action when that happens, and honestly, it's something to look forward to. Check out this update from chart analyst Casey Trades. All eyes are on $2.23 for XRP's next big move. After consolidating and building strength, XRP got a major boost from the Ripple Bank charter application. It couldn't have come at a better time. This news pushed us above the $2.25 resistance, but now we're hitting some rejection at $2.26, which lines up with the .382 retracement of the recent wave. This suggests we might need one more dip before things really take off. Right now, $2.23 is looking like the sweet spot for the next entry point. Why? It's the, it's the .200 and 36 retracement level, and multiple subwave targets are clustering there. Add a little buffer for slippage and you've got a solid setup. Let's see how this plays out. Here's the short-term plan. We're expecting some resistance at $2.26, which could trigger one last dip down to $2.23. That's the key level I'm keeping an eye on. If we see a bullish divergence and a strong bounce from there, things could really take off. The setup could fuel a major move with $2.69 as the breakout target. Interestingly, this was exactly the level mentioned on July 3rd, and now XRP has hit $2.23, right where it was predicted. This could be the base we've been waiting for, setting the stage for that bullish divergence to $2.69. Fingers crossed it happens sooner rather than later. But here's the thing, regardless of short-term moves from a big picture perspective, we're far from done. The best is yet to come. It couldn't be more obvious. Of course, I'm not claiming to know this for sure. No one can. But based on probabilities, historic trends, and insights from data-driven experts, this is looking pretty exciting. Taking a smart, informed approach is the way to go here. At least that's how I see it. It's all lining up so perfectly. It couldn't be more obvious. Everything is falling into place, and yet so many people still aren't giving XRP the attention it deserves. But just wait. Oh, they're going to notice. Trust me, it's only a matter of time. Think about it. If the price is holding steady here without the chaos of the masses piling in, doesn't that say something? I've been pointing this out for weeks, even months, while XRP has been consolidating above $2.00. The smart money has been making its moves. There's so much evidence of this. Just look at the whale behavior. It's all right there. It's such an exciting time to be holding XRP. Thanks so much for all your support. It really means a lot. And hey, I appreciate you sticking with me through the less fun stuff. I know it's not ideal, but at least we still get to hang out and chat, right? Anyway, I'll wrap things up here. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Oh, and just a quick reminder, I'm not a financial advisor, but please don't make any buying or selling decisions based on what I say. That wouldn't be a great idea.